Hello, so today we are going to be working on adding integers. So these rules to the left provide us with explicit instructions of what we need to do when we are adding two integers. So that would imply that the middle sign is going to be positive. So let's get started. If we have a problem like -3 plus +4, we need to look at our rules. Rule number 1, are there three signs? You always want to check and see if there are three signs present. Here we have the middle sign being addition, so we know we need to use these rules. The sign in front of the 3 is a negative sign, and this sign in front of a 4, the 4 is a positive sign, so I do have three signs. If you do not have three signs, we need to make three signs. You can always add in positives, but you cannot add in negatives. So if you are missing a sign in the middle or in front of one of the integers, just add a positive sign. Then we can proceed to step 2. Are the signs directly in front of the integers the same? Then add the integers and keep the sign. Okay, so remember, we want to check that this middle sign is positive. Then we proceed. Are the signs directly in front of the integers the same? Well, in front of the 3, we have a negative sign, and in front of the 4, we have a positive sign. So they are not the same. So we are not going to do number 2. Go on to number 3. Are the signs directly in front of the integers different? Yes. Then take the difference, subtract the two numbers, and steal the stronger sign. So it doesn't really matter which way we subtract here, but we're going to do 4, because that is larger in terms of absolute value, minus 3, and we get 1. So different signs, take the difference. Steal the stronger sign means that the number that is further away from 0, or bigger if you ignore the sign, is the sign that we're going to take. So 4 is pulling us further positive. It is larger than 3, so we're going to steal the sign from 4, and is going to be plus 1. If you ever get confused, you can draw a picture to help. We can show 3 negatives, and then we can show underneath that we're putting it together with 4 positives. Well, if I subtract 1 and add it right back, those cancel out. These cancel out, and these cancel out, and I'm left with my 1 positive. Let's show another example. All right, let's change up our color here. Mix things up. Okay. So now I have -3 plus -13. So I go to my rules. Rule number 1, are there 3 signs? I have a sign in front of the 3, a sign in the middle, and a negative sign. So yes. And the middle sign is a plus sign. So when you're adding in those signs, if the middle sign is not a plus sign, then these rules don't apply. You would be subtracting. So I am adding integers here. Number 2, are the signs directly in front of the integers the same? Yes, in front of the 13 is a negative, and in front of the 3 is a negative. So I can add the integers and keep the sign. Okay, I don't need to go to step 3 because that is if the signs are different. Since the signs are the same, add them, keep the sign. 13, 14, 15, 16, and I'm going to keep that negative sign. This is like if it drops 3 degrees and then it drops another 13 degrees. I'm going further down. I drop 3 and then I drop another 13. So I'm going to continue negative. If I were to draw this out in a picture, I would have my 3 negatives, and then I would continue with 13 negatives, and none of the negatives would cancel out with each other. So I would end up with my -16. Let's try one in which there are not 3 signs, and then we'll navigate what to do in that situation. Go ahead and erase here. Thank you for your patience with that. Okay. All right, let's change up our color. All right, so I have 4 plus -8. All right, so my first step is, are there 3 signs? And there aren't. So if not, I need to add a positive sign. So I always have to make sure that there's a sign in front of each number and there's a middle sign. So here I have my middle sign. I have my sign in front of the 8. I don't have a sign in front of the 4. Again, you can add in positives. You cannot just add in negatives. So now I have 3 signs. Now I can proceed. Are the signs directly in front of the integers the same? Let's check. In front of the 8, we have a negative. Right in front of the 4, we have a positive. They are not the same, so I'm not going to do step 2. Step 3, are the signs directly in front of the integers different? Yes. So take the difference, subtract. So I'm going to do 8 minus 4, just because it's easier for me. It is larger, so I can take away the 4. I have a 4. Now it says steal the stronger sign. So if we ignore the signs, what's larger, 8 or 4? 8 is, so it's going to be pulling it further negative. So I have my -8, -4 is my sum. And if I wanted to draw a picture to check it, I could put my 4 plus signs and then draw out 8 negative signs. And we could see that these 4 are going to cancel out because +1, if I add 1 and I take it right back away, I'm back to 0. So those 0 out and I'm left with -4. Okay, let's try one more. And once we get the hang of this with the smaller numbers, the same rules apply for the larger numbers. So we just need to use these rules, this explicit instruction. If you get confused, just go back to the rules and read through them to tackle those larger problems. Okay. If I have -4, and let's say I have -10, and I'm confused because it looks like a subtraction problem. So there are 2 ways we can handle this. Now, if we look at it, we don't see 3 signs here. So we want to start off by making sure that there's So we want to make sure that there are 3 signs. And if there are not 3 signs, we can add in a positive. And if we add in a positive and the positive is in the middle, then we can go proceed with our rules. So are we adding the same sign? Well, in front of the 10 is a negative and in front of the 4 is a negative. So we are adding the same sign. So we add them, 14, and we keep the sign negative.